Hi traders, so let's have a look at the daily recap show for today, which is Monday the 29th of November. So starting with the FTSE, this morning we said that we'd had that strong bearish day on Friday, which had brought some much needed volatility into the markets, but we also needed to exercise some caution due to the fact that it happened over Thanksgiving, potentially on the back of some thin volume. So we were bearish clearly on the markets, but we just had to exercise some caution, and we said that 71.42 to 52 was important on Friday, and it was going to be important for today's session as well. And then we spoke about the support below and also above. When the markets are fairly volatile, and there's a clear direction in the market, we must stick with that side of the market. We must stick with that bias, and we should only look to trade from the other side at key levels from the higher time frame, or once we have a clear change in bias. So let's go and have a look at the FTSE and see what happened today. Okay, so I was actually expecting a little bit more volatility in the markets today than we've actually seen. So there wasn't actually too much of an opportunity to trade. I thought and I'm hoping that as the week goes on, we will see a little bit more volatility and some great opportunities to trade. But as you can see, 71.42 to 52 this morning was the key area. It rejected it in the pre-market session, and then we held below it all morning. Now, as we'd held below it, we would only be looking for shorts. But as you can see, we got down here into these two lower zones around 7100, and we just chopped around, so there was no real clear opportunities to sell. So unfortunately the morning session didn't offer too much of an opportunity, and just as to show a reason why, if you actually look here, we've sold off, we've taken out those overnight lows. We talk about this quite a lot. We've got the liquidity grab here, we put in a signal and see how it just failed, and that's because we were below that key level in the market, and overall our bias has changed from the bull side to the bear side. So although this sort of setup in recent times you've seen it working very well on the long side, that's because we've had a bullish bias in the market. We've now switched to a bearish bias, and certainly below this area we still had that bearish bias. So although that's a sort of setup, it's something that we wouldn't be looking at because of the higher time frame context. So that's just a little thing to show as to why it's very important to look at that higher time frame as well. We then came up, and when we retested this area, it could have been a potential opportunity for a short. If we'd put in some sort of false break signal up around this area here, I think I would have been okay to take that. If we'd just taken out these highs from the pre-market session, but we didn't set up anything, and although we did get this push above that zone and then a pull back, in isolation we have actually then got we've got a sort of long setup here, but like a reversal for a push high on a retest of this area, and this sort of resistance zone that could have turned support here. But I'll show you the reason why I would not have taken it. One, because again we're still relatively weak on the market below this area. It's a deep retracement, and notice how this move here is a little bit more impulsive than this move here. Yes, this has a lot of green bars, and they're all pushing in one direction, but these selling bars, these red bars, are relatively big in comparison. So there clearly was some selling pressure on the way back down. Certainly, if I had taken a long here, as soon as we then started holding the 20 moving average and below this overnight high again, I definitely would have been looking to come out for a smaller loss. And actually this potentially is actually a short when you sort of start seeing this action here, whereby, hang on, let me just bear with me 1 second, I'll draw a structure on there. Right, okay, it's not the cleanest of structures, but what you can actually see is the as the 20 moving average declines, you can actually see that the price starts compressing below the 20 moving average. It starts compressing into this clear level of support, which touches once, twice, 3, 4 times, and it holds below this overnight high. So there's a compression there. There's a clear pattern of about, what's that, 30 to 40 minutes below that that level, and then we get the clear breakdown. That's sort of your signal there to show that this zone actually could be about to reject and move down. So I hope you found this useful, guys. Let's now go and take a look at the DAX. So the DAX was fairly similar, but we had the 15,450 to 470 as the key zone at the open, and we said that 240 to 260 is a zone to watch for support. Although it was a risky and aggressive place for a long in this current environment, because below that 450 to 470 we did still have a negative bias, but for experienced traders and for ones who have really solid risk management and good price action skills, it's a potential opportunity for a long. We did then speak about breaking above 450 to 470, but we didn't actually do that in the end today. So let's go and have a look at today's session. Okay, so very much like the FTSE, we had this 450 to 470 zone and we rejected it pre-market. You can see this really strong candle here at 7 o'clock this morning, and that's a really good indication that zone was going to reject and we was going to stay below it today. So from there, the zones actually reacted fairly well today. We came down, support, resistance, down through there, acted as support, and you can see they did actually generally oscillate back and forward and respected the zones quite well. Below here we were obviously bearish, so we were going to be looking for short trades and looking to sell the market. Not really too many great opportunities in terms of risk to reward to be able to actually get a trade, unfortunately, and we just we reacted from just above the 240 to 260 zone. This here is quite a nice long signal, and if I'd seen this signal from this 240 to 260 zone, that is something that I would have potentially looked to trade. However, it happened from the zone above, so it wasn't something that I looked at. But as you can see, it's a nice bullish pin bar, having taken out that that zone, and then a strong close above. Again, below that 450 to 470. You have to be very careful, and you have to make sure that you stick to your solid trade plan, which is why I wanted it from this 240 to 260 zone. It didn't happen, therefore I didn't trade. Other than that, again, you can see from the first hour we then just chopped around for the rest of the day. Even though we had this as resistance here and resistance up here, there's no real clear setup to short from. So unfortunately, again, I was expecting a lot more opportunity today than we've actually seen, and I'm hoping over the coming sessions we will see that. But the read on the market was right. We was below that 450 to 470 zone, and we did stay below that. The zones acted very nicely, and actually, as you can see in the afternoon session today, we did end up coming back to that 240 to 260 zone, and we have held it as support. So we'll have to reassess in the morning, see where we go on the DAX, and hopefully we'll get some better opportunities over the coming sessions and take advantage of this move in the markets. So guys, I hope you found this useful to show a little bit of what you should be thinking about, where our bias is. And it's okay, if as long as your reads on the market's right. Sometimes you just don't get any setups, and those days it's okay not to trade. Be patient, exercise that discipline to follow your trade plan, wait for the setups, and when they come, you'll take full advantage of them. So I hope you found this useful, guys, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Cheers.